Hello and welcome to a Squadron 42 development report for May 2022. This is the single-player campaign of Star Citizen. Cloud Imperium are in the process of moving to new studios in the UK and Frankfurt, allowing for much larger dev capacity. This has recently seen Jared, otherwise known as Disco Lando, the man that makes the Inside Star Citizen videos and Star Citizen Live sort of live streams, hosts them, move to the UK, as well as having Chris Roberts move to the UK as well to finish out Squadron 42. Now, we don't have any forms of dates for completion yet for Squadron 42. That is a constant, it seems. In the future we will, but there's certainly a lot of activity going on with Squadron now. The UK has become a major hub for basically headquarters and development. But let's take a look at what Cloud Imperium have been working on over the last few weeks and what they're focused on now with Squadron, and some AI and NPC updates as well. And remember, a lot of these updates will directly affect Star Citizen's persistent universe at some point too, because the way that they are now developing the game is a lot of features go to Squadron 42's branch first when they're sort of working on them or completing them out, and then they flesh them out and iterate on them a bit before putting them in the persistent universe. The Squadron 42 gameplay features team have continued to work on the Master at Arms last month, getting the character's behaviour working in sync with the kiosk. This includes retrieving the selected weapon from behind the counter or weapon rack, placing it on the counter, and putting it back once the player has finished with it. We saw the Master at Arms in the Squadron 42 vertical slice, where you basically get to choose your weapons and loadout. Work was done on an in-game application form linked to the character customizer, which allows players to generate an initial version of their character based on the options selected on the form. The gameplay story team updated several scenes in Chapter 1 with new mocap. They also maintained several existing scenes, applying the correct systemic poses to the beginning and end, which enable the characters to transition in and out of scenes correctly. Chapter 5 received significant updates and now includes the animations for 4 NPCs boarding a tram, taking up the correct positions, and grabbing hold of handrails. They also finished 2 more random to NPC scenes, leaving 1 remaining to close out the set. The FPS level design team focused on final gameplay and implementation passes for various key chapters. Work also continued on pushing out a number of mechanics and other chapters to alpha so they can begin testing and balancing gameplay towards the final experience. The space and dogfight team, alongside other design teams, continued their ongoing effort of pushing out the early chapters towards vertical slice quality. There are several special focus elements bespoke to Squadron 42 that received design attention too, as well as working collaboratively with other design teams. The social design team continued to implement all in-game scenes. Some AI content specifically for Squadron 42, the sleep and bed relaxation activity started last year, which enables NPCs to realistically pass their time in their bunks or sleeping quarters. Now, an NPC will find its bed and enter it before closing the privacy shutters and sleeping until they're scheduled to do another activity. AI content said, "We knew early on that to hit the fidelity we expect for Squadron 42, we would need to do some R&D on bedsheet deformation. This work is currently underway, and if successful, will allow the AI to deform their sheets when entering, exiting, or sleeping inside them. This is a challenging assignment and expands the complexity of the feature. For example, what happens to the sheets if the AI needs to exit the bed in an emergency?" Now, this is really interesting because this particular little feature that's probably been worked on by 1 or 2 people is a load of articles have appeared online like, Star Citizens making bed sheets deformable. Well, yeah, lots of little details that dev teams might work on do help make a game. Is it something that I would want them to dedicate hundreds of work hours to? No. Is that the case? No. I think the only issue there is that they've made quite a big song and dance about, you know what, we're doing bed sheets and we're talking about bed sheets. If it was mentioned more of a, on the side note, we've got some cool little details that we're bringing to the verse, like, oh yeah, the bed sheets will be appropriate to how they've been exited, then I wouldn't have to read a load of copy and pasted articles about bedsheet R&D. The initial implementation of bed relaxation includes reading, writing, and watching content on the mobiGlass, which can happen in bed or on the side of it. NPCs can also watch TV if their bunk includes one. Work on the arcade machine feature was finalized last month, which includes polishing the machine's male and female animations. The team also utilized the new geometry slaving feature from the AI tech. Instead of playing a joystick animation, the joystick is attached to the NPC's hand and moves when it does. AI features started the work on tech and animations for player takedowns, with the aim to present the Vandal as furious and deadly killers. For example, if a Vandal knocks a player down that doesn't recover quickly enough, they'll be killed via dramatic execution-style animation. Relevant animations were first blocked out and then later recorded in a motion capture session. Progress was also made on a section of cat and mouse gameplay with a marauding Vandal. In this section, the Vandal patrols around a moon with low visibility while the player tries to avoid them, making as little noise as possible. If the Vandal hears them, it will go into investigation mode and check out the area that the sound came from. The AI features team said, "It's really exciting to see all the elements of the gameplay, AI, level design, art, and sound coming together to match the vision." And that is something that I'm very excited about. That is what I want for Star Citizen. When people ask me, what feature are you most excited about for the games? It is everything coming together. It is as simple as that, or as complex as that. I'm not sure which one that is. The team also made improvements to the Master Graph, which is the ultimate AI behavior controller. This state machine takes various events as inputs, seeing an enemy, hearing a grenade, etc., controls the transition between states, and then plays the associated behaviors. Support was added to override certain states in the Master Graph with specific behaviors, allowing them to share the general structure between several characters while maintaining unique behaviors. Previously, this required multiple separate but very similar master graphs, but now it's also merged into one. On the animation side, lots of female retargeting work was completed. The team also looked into getting a fully featured pistol animation set using hand and armor overlays on top of the existing stock weapon set. The initial test of the pistol overlay animation looked promising and will save time, effort, and memory. However, full body animations can still be utilized for specific cases to maintain quality. AI Tech have adjusted the AI behaviors and code to allow ships to correctly quantum travel out of planetary atmospheres. Previously, ships would think they're inside an obstacle and not correctly account for which direction would be best to leave the planet. For the navigation system, the team added the ability to notify listeners when navigation meshes are spawned and created within the environment. Due to the large number of entities, they're aiming to reduce the number of allocations for notification events and possibly introduce a better way to filter which entity events are relevant. They continued tasks that will allow NPCs to interact correctly with movable entities, like trolleys. The recent aim was to integrate the operator and trolleys themselves into the collision avoidance system. This will allow NPCs to push trolleys, avoid other characters while pushing, and avoid trolleys left throughout a level. They also made it easier to drag a link from one node to another, improved the automatic folder selection when creating new files, and modified quick insert to select a suggestion based on the string type if not specified. Animation worked on AI previs and supported design as they implemented animations across various chapters. They also looked into how to best use overlays to convert stocked weapon combat into pistol combat. This will cut down on the number of assets needed and make it more efficient to transfer assets to the female AI. Development of Zero-G Traversal continued with improvements made to its look and feel. AI animations for social areas were worked on too, with the aim to give more life to the various campaign locations. On the facial side, improvements were made to several cast character animations. The motion capture team continued to support the narrative and gameplay teams, with an anticipated Vandal combat shoot scheduled soon. Tech Animation continued creating new face rigs from their internally created scan data. They also invested substantial time into the tools, chain, and process to ensure upcoming heads are quicker and cleaner to produce. They supported the feature animation teams by improving the animation systems to accommodate their increased requirements, for example, enabling the system to support up to 50 layers of authored and inverse kinematic animations on a single character. They also supported the other development teams with initiatives to solidify workflows to save both time and errors. Alongside the art and design teams, VFX completed a color experimentation on a suite of energy effects that will be seen throughout the campaign. Work was also completed on several unique shield effects, which the team are very pleased with. They also completed prototyping to demonstrate how particles can be used to add extra visual flourish to holographic displays. Boom, that's it for your Squadron 42 update this time, and I'm interested to know your thoughts. Do you think that there's too much minutiae in the development going on with Squadron 42? Do you think that things like bedsheet, even if it's worked on just by a single person or part of a team, the sort of deformation there and the sort of high details there, that's too much? You're like, well, actually, I just want the game to come out eventually, and as it draws on, I'm like, well, that's great, but I'd rather the game already be out? Or are you much more in the sort of mindset of, actually, I want this to be a fantastic game, I want to see what they can do with time and money, and yeah, take your time to make a genuinely great game. I'm hoping it's going to be one of the best games that's ever made. Do you think Squadron 42 now is in the final sort of leg of its development, or do you think there are still many years to go? Are you much more into Squadron 42 than you are Star Citizen, or are you much more into Star Citizen than you are Squadron 42? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I saw NordVPN once. I was in a forest, late at night. I'd got lost, and then I heard it, an unearthly sound as if the wind was talking to me. NordVPN.com/BoredGamer. Then I saw him run at me. He was so free, almost as if he could be anywhere in the world. America, France, Australia. He was so secure, protected in layers of encryption that I could not even fathom. So majestic. Well, I heard that NordVPN was as big as a bear and could kick your head off. I've also heard that, which is why, just in case, I go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer to appease the beast. You can find links to that down below. If you're looking for a new god, why not try NordVPN? Every month we have a ship giveaway. This time for May, to celebrate Star Citizen Alpha 3.17's release, we're giving away 3 prizes to 3 separate winners. An Origin 100i luxury starter ship, a consolidated Outland Nomad versatile freighter, and an Aegis Avenger Titan multi-role ship. They all come with lifetime insurance and access to play Star Citizen. To be in for a chance of winning one of those 3 prizes, just comment on any of my videos made during May. More details in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone that watches, shares, comments, and likes my videos. It really does help the channel grow. Be sure to subscribe for more content. If you would like to go to the extra mile in supporting the channel, there is Patreon links below. There's a join button under my videos as well on YouTube that makes you a highly elite channel member with some extra perks and exclusive content. There's also the thanks button, which straight up gives us money, and you can leave a highlighted comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great May 2022.